Hello everyone, and I'd like to welcome you to the 21st Century Money Masterclass, put together by Emmanuel Amadou of the Leaders Manor Network. Let me start off by saying thank you, Emmanuel, for having me on your training this evening or this night, where I'll be sharing with you cutting-edge strategies for making, managing, and multiplying money. The very best, most recent, most proven, most effective ways of making a lot of money in our current dispensation. That being said, this should have come as a live video, and as some of you are already aware, we had 4 attempts earlier this evening to shoot the live video, but network just wouldn't allow us achieve our objective, so it has to be a recorded video. But what will be happening is I will be taking your questions in the comments below, and I will respond to them subsequently. So I want to thank all of you who were patient enough for us to create this alternative, and thank you for sacrificing your time and your data to invest in yourself. What I will share in the next 60 or so minutes will change your finances forever. You will look back in the years to come and you will be grateful that you watched this video, learned the insights shared, and put them to work. My name is Ejimi. I'm the founder of the Profitable Investor Network. I'm the creator of the Forex Wealth Flow methodology, a 6-step process that shows you how to use financial markets trading to grow your wealth so you can afford to live your best life on your own terms, to do what matters most to you with those who matter most to you. I'm a chartered wealth manager. I'm a fellow of the American Academy of Financial Management, and I'm also an ex-bank trader. I had the privilege of being on the 5-man trading team of the 2nd largest equities investment bank in Nigeria. Every now and then I preach and I share God's word. So the principles I will be sharing with you are both secularly accurate, based on the most recent trends in the financial services sector, in the wealth management space, in the money-making space, and they're also scripturally proven, biblically sound for those of you who are people of faith who don't want to compromise your conscience just to make a lot of money. So sit back. It's going to be an amazing 60 minutes. Hopefully if we get up to 60 minutes, it may be 30 minutes, I don't know. Let's just talk, and let's take it from there. If you want to make more sales, you want to make more profits, you want to have more time, you want to achieve this doing less work, then I'm the person you should talk to, because all my life I have been studying the science and the art of money making, growing money, multiplying money, and these strategies have been proven to work. The last time I was in paid employment was about 3 years ago, where I quit as a institutional sales trader in an FCA brokerage. Prior to that, I worked, like I just said, as a bank trader. So these strategies are strategies that have been gleaned over the years, over 10 years of work experience, and I've put them into practice. I mean, for the last 3 to 4 years, I've not been on any payroll, and I've been able to live life on my own terms. I've been there for my kids. I mean, I drop them off in school, I pick them up from school, and I have time. I don't just have resources, I actually have time and the freedom to enjoy the kind of income that I make. So it's not theory we're teaching here, all right? So please get a journal, write down what we share, read it over and over again, watch this video over and over again, get a piece of paper to ask your questions, because I will be answering questions that you post in the comments below. So thank you once again, Emmanuel Amadou, for the privilege to speak to your tribe, to your team, and let's get started. One of the things that we'll be kicking off with is, I don't know how many of you have heard this slogan recently. It's been trending online for months now. How to profit from your passion. Everybody's talking about profiting from your passions. Everybody's talking about monetizing your passions. That is not what you know that is stopping you. Is not what you lack that is stopping you. Is what you have that you don't know how to use that is limiting you from getting to your next level of influence and income. It's true, but beyond the rhetorics, beyond the cliche, beyond the razzmatazz, what exactly does it mean to profit from your passions? For me, profiting from your passions is your ability to go beyond just having passions to making sure that you are compensated, rewarded for the passions. And how do you make that transition? How do you journey from passions to profit? Well, it's a very, very straightforward process. If you have the right tools, if you have the right strategies, if you have the right quality of information, but it can be a very painful and frustrating process if you don't know what to do. And that's what I'll be helping you here, to see clearly what to do to profit from your passions. And if you watch this video to the end, there are about 6 key questions like this that I will be shedding more light on, things I have learned through the years from other mentors, from self-discovery, from implementation, taking it to the marketplace. So if you watch to the very end, you will have me answer all these questions with practical, actionable insights, strategies, and techniques that you can start using right after this video ends, and you start to see the difference it starts to make in your business, in your career, and your level of fulfillment. So how do you move from passions to profits? I think the very first thing is you have to identify your passions. What do I mean by that? You can't, whatever you can't visualize, you can't describe. Whatever you can't describe, you can't identify. For example, if you want to describe me, you say, oh, he's tall, he has a low haircut, he's clean shaven, he has a pattern by the back, by the side. As I'm saying that, you are visualizing it. You are visualizing that. Because you can visualize it, you can describe it, and it's because you can describe it that you can identify me when you finally see me. So whatever you can't visualize, you can't describe. Whatever you can't describe, you can't locate. Whatever you can't describe, you can't identify. Whatever you can't identify, you can't locate. Whatever you do not locate, you will never experience. I'll say that again. Whatever you can't describe, whatever you can't visualize, you can't describe. Whatever you can't describe, you can't identify. Whatever you can't identify, you can't locate. Whatever you don't locate, you will never experience. Therefore, whatever you don't visualize, you will never experience. Which is why you have to clearly identify what your passions are. A lot of people talk about passions, but what exactly would I call a passion? What are passions? Well, for me, in the context of this conversation, passions are what you love to do, what excites and energizes you, and they're defined from the lens of 5 factors. 5 factors. Number 1 is experience. If I were to identify my passions, I would critically analyze my experience. By experience, I mean how long. Whatever it is that you call a passion, whenever it is you're trying to identify a passion, you have to look at your life and look at the things you've done for very long, things that you have a lot of experience doing. And by experience, I mean things you've done very long. Experience simply means how long. Now, it doesn't have to be anything fantastic. What have you done for a long time? So, for example, for a very long time, I've loved to talk. I like talking. I like being the life of a gathering, the life of a party. I like being the center of attraction. I like bringing joy to the people around me based on how I communicate to them, making people laugh. And I've been that way for as long as I can remember. My wife, on the other hand, is a very caring person, but she's a very quiet person. She doesn't have many friendships, but the few she has, they're very deep. I have a lot of friendships, but not all of them are very deep. You see it now. So you have to analyze what you've done for very long, how you've been for very long. I like looking good, for example. I've always wanted to look good for as long as I can remember. I have some throwback pictures of myself as a young kid, and I'm wearing a suit, and I'm looking like the CEO of the future that I was dreaming when I was a kid. I've always been like that. I like looking good. I like creativity. I'm inspired by creativity. I've been that way for a very long time. And guys, when you're looking at your experience, what you've done for very long, don't just look at the great things. Also look at the things that are not so great. What do I mean? I'm the kind of person that I don't necessarily like physical labor. I'm not necessarily excited when I'm called to do physical labor. I'm always thinking of ways to do things easier. I hate changing a tire. You see it now. So that some people will call that laziness. Well, I wouldn't call it laziness. It just means I don't necessarily like physical exertion if I have a choice. So don't just look at the things that are like great. Look at the things that are not so great also. If you've been doing it for very long, it's likely you are passionate about it. So focus on your experience. How long? Next, to identify your passions, you now look at your expertise. How well? Expertise refers to how well you can do something. There are some things you've done for very long that you don't do very well. So expertise refers to the things you do very well. And there's some things you've not done for very long, but you do them very well. What do you do very well? That you're strikingly competent at that thing, or you're strikingly committed to that thing. Ask your friends, ask your family, ask your loved ones, what do you do very well? Some of you love to cook, but you don't cook very well. So you have experience, you've been loving to cook for a while, you've been cooking for a while, but you're not necessarily great cooks. So you have experience, but you don't have expertise. The goal is to find the things that you have both experience and expertise in, that you've done for very long and you do very well. I hope this is making sense. At this juncture, if it's making sense, just type below, experience and expertise makes sense. Experience and expertise, comma, makes sense, so that we can carry on together. I don't want to just rant at you. I want to be sure you are engaged and you're learning. Experience refers to how long you've done something. Expertise refers to how well you do that thing. Now, you would notice when you're identifying your passions from the lens of experience and expertise, you're looking at the past. You're looking at things that have happened in the past. That's great, but you also need to look at the future if you're going to identify your passions. And that takes me to the third thing you need to focus on, and that is your expansion. So 1 is experience, 2 is expertise, 3 is expansion. By expansion, I mean how far. Expansion implies growth. Expansion implies space. So how far do you want to grow in that area of passion? To identify your passions, you have to identify how far you want to grow. So for example, when it comes to expansion, you're now looking at the future. So there may be something you've been doing for very long, you have experience in it. There may be something you do very well, you have expertise in it, but you still want to grow in that thing. Meaning, even though you're good at it, you still don't feel satisfied. You want to continue to explore and increase your capacity in that area. So that has to do with expansion. So for example, I've always been very, very interested in money. I started being creative, thinking of ways to do things differently, and then started to do business as a teenager. And I've been obsessed, as it were, with money making, financial freedom for as long as I can remember. So because I've been doing it for long, I decided to build competence in it. I decided to build expertise in it and learn to do it well. So I started learning how money is made, which led me into financial markets trading, which made me qualify as a chartered wealth manager in 2010, which made me seek to be a bank trader. You see it now, because I wanted to not just have experience, I wanted to have expertise. And now, when I think of expansion, I still want to grow. A few years ago, I was not called Africa's #1 Forex coach. Now I'm called Africa's #1 Forex coach. Why? Growth, expansion, because I want to go far with it. I want to show millions of people around the world how to use financial markets trading to make money on their own terms. So my expansion component is very high. There are other things I do quite well that I'm not necessarily interested in going very far with it. I'm not necessarily interested in building more capacity, gaining more depth, acquiring more relevant knowledge in those areas. So you identify your passions by identifying how much you want to expand, how far you want to go with that passion. And then you also identify your passions by looking at your expression. So expertise, how long? Expertise, how well? Experience, how long? Expansion, how far? And then expression, how famous? Let me give you an example of what I mean by expression. Do you want to be known for that area of passion? So for someone like me, do I want to be known as the guy you turn to when you want to make more money? Yes, I want to be known for that. I have other passions that people don't know about. For example, I'm a biker. I have a sports bike. I have a Repsol, a Honda CBR 600. And I'm sure some of you are just finding out, except if you check my social media feeds. I don't really want people to know that I'm a biker. I don't want to be famous for biking. I love biking. I've biked for a while. I'm a relatively great biker. And I want to keep becoming like a better biker. Well, once my kids are grown, I'll actively resume biking again. But I don't want to be famous for biking. I don't want to be Valentino Rossi. I don't want to be... So some things you don't want to be famous for. It's just a passion you want to enjoy quietly. But other passions you want to be famous for it. And how you know if you want to be famous for something is, whatever your passion is, if you find out that your friend or your family member wants to gain mastery in that thing and they don't tell you, will you be upset? I use myself as an example. If I find out a close friend of mine is interested in trading forex or did a forex investment and didn't let me know, I'll be upset. Not because I want their money or anything. No, I don't need their money, but it just means that they have not come to recognize me as a voice, as an authority in that area. And because I want to be famous for it, I'm like, why? So it will pain me. Some of you bake, some of you code, some of you draw, some of you paint, some of you are trained professionals, engineers, whatever it is. And how you know if you want to be famous for something is if your friend hires another person in that area, or if your friend confides in another person in that area of your passion. Will it upset you? Will it pain you? Will you feel like, is that this person doesn't recognize that I'm interested in this thing? If that happens to you in that area of passion, that's a good a sign. It's a good way to identify your passion. So, expression, how famous do you want to be for that passion? And then the fifth one, this is basically for people of faith. I'm a Christian, I'm born again. So I add it because for those of you who like to know that what you're doing is in line with what you believe and doesn't compromise it, one more layer of identification you can put is what I call empowerment. How anointed are you? What that simply means is, are you very convinced that the unseen realm, the intangible realm, God and angels are backing you up to do that thing? Do you truly believe that there's an unseen force, unseen but very real force, that supports you when you're doing that thing? There's some things we do that we don't really feel like we have the support of the realm of the spirit, but there are others that we do and we know that we were born for this. God is behind us in this. That has to do with empowerment, all right? So if you run your passions through these 5 layers of evaluation, you'll be able to identify your passions. Experience, how long? Expertise, how well? Expansion, how far? Expression, how famous? Empowerment, how anointed. I hope this has been very helpful in getting you to identify what your passions are. That being said, let's jump to the second thing you need to do to move from passions to profit. The first, remember, is identify your passions. The second thing is clarify your purpose. Clarify your purpose. Guys, listen to this. Passions have to do with what you like to do, what you love to do. Purpose, on the other hand, refers to how what you love to do, right? How it helps others, or how what you love to do does for others. I'll take that again. Passion is what you love to do. Purpose is what you love to do does for others. Passion is what you love to do. Purpose is what you love to do does for others. So passion is personal. Purpose is weighed by others. The relevance of your passions to their lives. Now, this is where a lot of people miss it. That you're passionate about something doesn't mean it's purposeful. That you love to do something doesn't mean what you love to do actually makes a difference in the lives of other people. So after you've identified your passions, you need to clarify the purpose of your passions. And let me explain why I say so. Passions simply supply the fuel for capacity building. Passions simply help you to go the extra mile to become purposeful in what you're passionate about. I hope this makes sense. If it makes sense, write in the comments below, make your passions purposeful. Make your passions purposeful. Now, I'll give you a little framework to evaluate how you can make your passions purposeful. When it comes to the area of passion, right? Passions typically manifest themselves in 3 ways. Number 1, you have a group of people who are passionate about products. Let me explain what I mean. Those people are generally passionate about creating stuff. So they're passionate about creativity, innovation, insights, productivity. So you always see them trying to create something new. You see them making a new painting, a new drawing, making a cake, writing a book. All of that is creativity, producing stuff, coming up with ideas. That's producing stuff. And such people are usually very purposeful in the area of research and development. They're able to channel their passions into purposes that have to do with coming up with products, innovative services, innovative products, innovative ideas. You may find that you're that kind of person. Your passions compel you to produce stuff. Your passions compel you to create stuff. And you're intrigued by creativity, innovation, insight, wisdom. You just want to know how things work so you can make them work better. You want to create, you want to create something. You will find out that your passions will be most purposeful in the area of product research and development. product research and development, creativity is going to be a very big deal to you and for you, right? Now, for other people, what you're passionate about, the purpose may not lie in creativity, innovation. The purpose of your passions may be found in your love for systems, structures, details, routine. So the first set of guys are energized by creativity, innovation. They're always thinking of the next big thing. But this second kind of guys are passionate about giving structure to an idea, making it predictable, making it accessible, making it sustainable. They're not just interested in you coming up with an idea, oh, let's do this. No, they'll be like, how will we make it work? So their passion compels them to find a purpose that is geared towards efficiency, effectiveness, systems and structures. So you find out that such people are really good at operational excellence. They are really good at thinking things through, dotting the I's, crossing the T's. So ask yourself, your passions, do they find their purpose in the area of systems, structures, routine, predictability, efficiency, effectiveness, not just creativity now. You are in love with processes. So the first set of people are in love with products. The second set are in love with processes. They find a purpose for their passions through processes. Now the last set of people, you're not really freaked out about creativity or coming up with a fantastic idea. You're not the person that says, let's have a program. Let the program be based around this. And you're not the person that says, yes, it's to be good to have a program, but well, how do we get the venue? How do we get the flyers? And the creative person is like, let's just talk to the people, and the process person, the systems person is like, calm down, who's going to pay for the hall? How are we going to organize it? How are we going to do the logistics? You see that now. Some people are not even interested in all of that. Rather, you find out that your passions, the purpose of your passions finds expression best when it comes to people. So the first category, products, the second category, process, the third category, people. And you find out that your purpose shines the most in areas that have to do with customer intimacy, when it comes to persuading people, when it comes to attracting people, when it comes to negotiation, client conversion, client attraction, empathy, feedback, psychology. That's your strength. That's where your passion finds a purpose. So anytime you're thinking about adding a purpose to your passions, you need to think along these lines. Am I a product-oriented person inspired by creativity and innovation? Am I a process-oriented person inspired by efficiency and effectiveness? Or am I a people person inspired by negotiation, influence, and persuasion? I hope this has been helpful so far. So write in the comments below if you are 100% product, say I'm a 100% products person, or I'm an 80% products person, I'm a 50% process person, and I'm a 20% people person. Let's know where your strength lies and where the purpose of your passions can find expression, whether in products, whether in processes, or in people. If this is helpful, comment below and I'll move on to the next thing. But before we talk about that, let me conclude on purpose. Guys, whenever you're trying to clarify the purpose of your passions, I want you to remember that money is a reward for demonstrating mastery, money is a reward for solving painful problems, and money is a reward for providing leadership, for showing the way. So, when you're thinking about the purpose of your passions must be something that allow you to demonstrate mastery. Your passions must be something that allow you to solve a very specific painful problem for a very specific person. And your passions must be something that help you to provide leadership, show the way, show people how something is done. Be the first, become what people want to become, and then show them the way to do that. This is the only way that you can give purpose to your passions. Now, you've identified your passions, you've clarified your purpose, you've identified what you love to do, and then you've clarified how what you love to do will impact the lives of others. How what you love, you've clarified what the things that you love to do will do in the lives of people. After you do that, then the very next thing you need to focus on is you need to find a message. You've identified your passions, you've clarified your purpose, you need to find a message. You need to find a message that summarizes your passions and your purpose in a way that matters to many people. I always say that until you find a message that matters to you and to a large enough number of people, you're just wasting time. Let me explain what I mean by a message. So for example, if you want more profits, more sales, more time with less work, I can help. That's a message. You can say it's the message of more. Or I can say, grow your wealth so you can live your dream life on your own terms. A message is a sum total of the benefits of your passions and your purpose if engaged. Meaning, you let a person know that if you can interact and engage with my passions and my purpose, this is what will happen to you. Many people don't have a clear message. Some companies call them vision statements, mission statements. Other people call them value proposition. I simply call it a message that matters to you and to a large enough number of people. The message must have an outcome that it creates for the people who choose to adopt and implement it. And you really have to find that message fast. For those of you who are people of faith, the Bible talks about John the Baptist and how it says he's the voice of one crying XYZ. So I am the voice of one crying, be financially free. You see that now. My wife, who is an expert baker, is the voice of one saying, get every cake is a memory, is an unforgettable memory. That's the value proposition, that's the message. Cakes should evoke memories. Cakes should capture beautiful moments. So that by the time people interact with your value proposition, hear your message, they want to buy in to that message. Is this making sense, guys? If it makes sense, please comment below, say it makes sense. So your passion leads you to your purpose leads you to your message, and then once you identify your message and what that outcome is, what that beautiful outcome is. So my wife sometimes says she teaches people how to, this is what she does. It's not just what she says, it's what she does. She teaches people how to make cakes and make money from cakes. She teaches people how to make cakes and how to make money from cakes. You see that now? It's very nice, it's very catchy. She's passionate about cakes. She's found her purpose in cakes, but the message, she helps people to make cakes and make money from cakes. So you have people to summarize in a very simple sentence. And then, once you know what your message is, once you know what your outcome is, you have to gain mastery in exemplifying that message. Guys, this is where a lot of people miss it in their journey from passions to profit. That you have a message doesn't mean you have mastery. A message is the promise, is the outcome, is the benefit of interacting with your passions and purpose. But you still have to gain mastery in exemplifying your message. So for example, I can't be teaching you financial freedom and you don't see it in my life. So if I tell you for the last 3 to 4 years, I've been with my kids every day. I drop them in school in the morning, I pick them up when they're done, and we're very close. I drop my wife too, we hang out a lot. If I tell you that, one day of the week, my wife and I take out time to just spend time with ourselves. So obviously, I'm living life on my own terms. You see how that works, guys? So you have to gain mastery in exemplifying your message. Now, that doesn't mean that you wait until you're a total master before you start talking about your message. No, pick the low-hanging fruit. So for example, you may be passionate about weight loss, but you're on the big side and you're like, I don't exemplify my message. No, you do. You're someone who is passionate about weight loss, fitness. So your message will now, you will position it from the angle of helping people achieve their desired weight regardless of their current challenge. Because you now have a current challenge and you're showing people how you plan to overcome that challenge. When I say find a message and exemplify mastery, I'm not saying you must be 100% master. I mean, commence the journey to mastery. Let's see the steps that you're taking to exemplify that message. Oh, you're a fashion designer and you're always wearing foreign clothes. You don't wear your own clothes. You are not exemplifying your message. You have to find a way to exemplify your message, which is why you see the background of screens behind me. Not necessarily because I can't trade without them. I can trade without them, right? But this is my own way of exemplifying, of demonstrating my mastery. Is this making sense, guys? I can't go in depth. This is a very surface training. Although it's very rich, even though it's surface for some people, it's extremely deep. Some people pay to hear this, but this is just introductory. I can't go in depth, but guys, you need to gain mastery. You need to gain mastery. mastery in exemplifying and embodying your message. So, identify your passions, clarify your purpose, find a message, gain mastery, then promote your authority. Once you've started to gain mastery gradually, you didn't know this last week, now you know it. You couldn't do this last week, now you can do it. Start to promote your authority. This is where a lot of people have a problem. I don't know why. For some of us who were raised in Africa, we like to be extremely humble to the point of denying our competence. And then some people who are overly religious don't know how to say who they are. So if you're good at something, for some of you, maybe when I was reading out my resume, some of you be like, why is he saying that? He's bragging. No, I'm not bragging. I'm promoting my authority. You need to let people know that you can help them. You need to let people know that your passions and the purpose of your passions can change their lives. You have to start learning how to promote. We must hear you day and night talking about what you do. We must hear you day and night publicizing what you do. Because it is when people know what you do that they can come to partake of what you do. If I be lifted up, I will draw all men. If what you do is raised, if what you do is visible, if what you do is promoted, people will come to participate and engage your purpose. Is this making sense, guys? If it is, say there, I will promote my authority as a forex trader, if you're like me. I will promote my authority as a wealth coach, if you're like me. I will promote my authority as a father, if you're a father like me. I will promote my authority as a fashionista, a stylish dresser, if you're a stylish dresser like me. Is this making sense, guys? Gone are the days when you keep quiet. You have to promote your authority like never before. For every level of competence, every layer of competence that you gain, promote it, guys. People will only call you what you call yourself. I learned that secret from Jesus. He says, who do men say that I am? Meaning, what's the word on the street? Jesus was interested in knowing what people had to say about him. Because he had been messaging them, he had been promoting his authority, and he needed to be sure that they were on the same page. Some you're Elijah, some you're John the Baptist, like beautiful. They are not spot on, but they are not mistaking me. They are not calling me a carpenter. They know that there's something unusual. I'm a prophet. So they are calling me, they're trying to relate me to the prophets they already know. Is this making sense, guys? You have to every day ask your friends, who am I? Who am I to you? What do you perceive me as? And if they're not defining and identifying you based on your passions and your purpose, your messaging is wrong. You're not promoting your authority. Don't be a nuisance. Don't make claims you can't defend, but promote your authority. Okay? That is the fourth step on your journey from passions to profits. Right? So, someone can say, what's the difference between mastery, gaining mastery, exemplifying mastery, and promoting authority? Let me explain it. Gaining mastery is personal. Mastery is you developing competence. Authority is you announcing competence. They're two different things. They seem similar, but they're not. As you are